I'm Abigail Osry.
And I'm Emily Audrey. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 18 of El Camino Reality.
This week we welcome some new international students to El Camino.
Talk to the French students as they prepare for another year of studying abroad.
Cover the latest Village Nation and La Familia meeting.
Give you an inside look at Drama's trip to New York.
Prepare for the new semester.
Talk about some note-taking strategies that may be helpful.
And of course, toss it over to Josh Schaefer for this week's Sports Wrap-Up.
As we enter the beginning of the second semester, we not only welcome back our current students, but we also introduce some international ones.
Bethany Ramirez and Yanira Montoya asked the students their opinion on this new experience.
Every semester, El Camino receives international students to give them the chance to improve their English and to experience the American lifestyle.
It's really great. I like the weather because Finland's so cold and I like the people because they're really social.
I like it very much. It's nice because the people here are welcoming. They're nice people. They're talkative. In the high school, it's a lot of going on.
Pretty good so far. Getting used to it. The class is different. There's more people. Because back in Australia, we only have 1,000, and now we have 3,000 here. Yeah.
It's really different here. The weather is so hot and no snow.
I like it very much. It's very different from Austria, but it's fun, yeah.
I like it because the people are nice, they're welcoming, and it's always fun. School is not boring like in Switzerland. It's always going on after school, something like a game. So I like it very much.
Pretty good. It's really similar to Australia, all the stuff we're learning. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And the biggest thing is that everything's so big here.
Every year, Mr. Hussey brings international students, but as the years go by, the numbers have become greater.
For the exchange students, I think it helps them with their English. It helps them learn about the American culture, hopefully the good things about the American culture, and they can bring that back to their country. I think for our kids, it's meeting new kids and hopefully experiencing different cultures and hopefully maybe even visiting those countries. I know we have kids that have gone to France. I know some of our American students have visited their the students they hosted, so they see different things and experience the world and not just the little place they have in Woodland Hills.
I've been in San Diego, Santa Barbara, San Francisco, Santa Monica.
I live in Calabasas, so I visited some places in Calabasas, but yeah, it's not that much. My host family is very nice. I've just got a host mother, which is very, very nice. She's not from a real American, but yeah.
Give the new students a big welcome. For El Camino Reality, this is Bethany Ramirez.
People tend to confuse the term international students with foreign exchange when there really isn't an exchange at all.
You're right, but the Foreign Language Department does have an exchange program.
Pierce Richard, Alex Marcuzzi, and Roni Haziza tell you more.
With the new year comes a new French exchange program, where 3 French students go to France and spend 3 months with their corresponding French exchange student.
We have launched the 2016 Passepartout program again, and this year 3 students will travel to France and they will host 3 French students in the fall. Just as last year, these 3 students will go to the same village.
I expect some difficulty at first, and then I feel that I'll have a great experience all around learning about the culture, and so it'll be less appreciation and more understanding and gaining knowledge of the culture.
They'll be there for 11 weeks, returning in late April, and while they're there they will participate in school and everything that their correspondent French host brother or sister will be doing.
I assume this will give me a sense of independence, being away from home for so long, as well as managing myself time-wise.
The 10th grade is an excellent year to participate in this. because you have a little bit of French under your belt and can probably cope very, very well. Come and see me, and we can see if you're a suitable candidate for the French exchange.
The French exchange program is a great way to experience French culture while also gaining a greater knowledge of the language. For El Camino Rowdy, this is Pierce Richard.
Last Thursday, hundreds of students gathered in Anderson Hall with the Village Nation and La Familia for the Black Love Brown Pride Assembly.
Jalen Young and Roni Aziza covered the event.
As we begin the new year with the fresh slate, La Familia and the Village Nation join as one to help open the minds of the students here at El Camino. As a club that has only been around El Camino for a little over a year, the Village Nation, co-founded by Mr. Fluker, a teacher here at El Camino, has devoted itself to the bettering of this generation's future.
I think they did the assembly so that we can believe in ourselves. A lot of people think that Hispanics or blacks are minorities, and they kind of put themselves down by thinking that they can't do good.
My feelings towards the Village Nation and the La Familia program and what they are providing with the students is one of deep pleasure. It makes me feel good that students here on campus have an opportunity to gather the information, to prepare themselves for their future, and the support necessary for moving forward.
Throughout the assembly, 2 guest speakers donated their time to discuss their personal struggles and how they were able to rise above the low expectations life has set them.
Both of the stories actually stood out to me because they were really inspirational. How both of them, they had a lot of obstacles, but they made it.
Don't worry about failing. You are gonna fall. We all do. I bombed another test just last year. I am far from perfect. You're gonna fall down. It takes us longer sometimes. You're gonna make mistakes. I made many of them before I was even your age.
I won't forget their stories. They really touched me.
Number one piece of advice I would have for any student going down the wrong path is that, number one, we've all made mistakes, and number two, it is never too late. At any given time, you can choose to change the direction you're going in. If you have the courage, change the direction you're going in and walk in a different direction.
If students find themselves going down the wrong path, whether it is doing drugs, joining a gang, or just not doing well in school, remember that there is always help. There's always someone available to help, like Familia, like the Village Nation, that will be there as a pillar. They can reach out and get some stability in their lives so that they can start to improve the situation that they're in.
In the future, I just plan to stay in school and just keep studying and hopefully achieve my goals.
For El Camino Reality, this is Roni Haziza.
Over winter break, drama took it to the streets in the city that never sleeps.
Las Vegas?
Close, New York. Jenny Mariano, Isabella Balby, and Keegan Sly bring you the story.
There's no better place to see live theater than New York. The play production class left Los Angeles for the Big Apple on Thursday night of finals week. Some students saw as many as 8 shows in the 6 days they were visiting the city.
We saw a lot of shows, but my favorite was by far Hamilton. It was just such an amazing experience, and the show itself was life-changing. It was like my 2 worlds colliding.
So we went to Stardust Diner after one of the shows, and it's a diner where all the waiters and waitresses sing, and it was really cool because our waitress would one minute be giving us water, and then the next would be performing.
My favorite show was Something Rotten. It was a comedy about Shakespeare, but it was also a musical.
The students paid their respects to those lost on 9/11 on the 3rd morning of the trip.
So we went to the 9/11 memorial, and when you first walk in, there's these 2 fountains where the 2 buildings stood, and it has all the names of all the victims. And then inside, there you see the video first of what happened and how people reacted and that kind of stuff, and how New York itself reacted.
On a more positive note, the next day they visited the famous Apollo Theater.
The Apollo was really cool. We got to tour the whole thing. We got to see the whole walls of signatures and the original dressing rooms and stuff. And I got to see a lot of my friends sing on stage, so that was really exciting.
The students were sad to leave the city on Christmas Eve.
It was so sad to leave. As we
went on the bus and drove away from the city, I could see it in the window and shed a tear. I really did, you know. I fell in love in a week. Leaving was like the worst thing ever because it was such a great week and there was so much freedom and you got to spend like in a hotel with all of your best friends. Like, that was the dream. And then you got to walk around Times Square on your own and like, I don't know, I want to live there and I don't like want to be here now.
Wish I could go back. For El Camino Reality, this is Jenny Mariano.
With the new year comes new changes, and as the new semester begins, students reflect on last semester. Manisha Kaur, Gary Galangian, and Tyler Doltz ask students and teachers their personal goals for this semester.
Students at ELCO this semester are trying to improve on their grades. Last semester may or may have not been a good one, but this semester is prone to be way better. We have interviewed Mr. Delorme and many other students.
Just stay more focused and not so much senioritis. Lost focus, took it for granted that I was a senior. Most are fine. Some of them need to work on their people skills.
I think the thing about spring semester is it shows you, it gives you a second chance, right? You know what the teacher is like, you know what their class is like. So from the very beginning, you can do the right thing. And if you got a grade that was lower than you wanted, then you have this second chance to do it. And so I think it's a really good opportunity.
Didn't really screw up with my grades last semester, but I have before. And when I had a D in math analysis, so I ended up having to retake that course last semester in zero period, which was awful. Zero period it's too early. So I made up that, and then the second semester I'd gotten the D in the honors class, so I dropped down to regular. And then ended up with a B in the second semester. And every teacher I've had here is really great. I've loved every single teacher I've had. In the math class I was in, I felt like they could have explained a lot of things better.
Fortunately, I didn't mess up last semester, but if I were to mess up, I think I'd just work a lot harder and just study a lot more and keep the distractions away from me. I think teachers are pretty good at their job here. They could be a little bit more interactive with the students, but I think it's pretty good. I like it.
Students this semester at ELCO say they're going to work much harder than they did last. From El Camino Reality, I'm Gary Galangian.
Sometimes students don't succeed because they don't take good notes.
Or they don't take notes at all. Angela Rouse and Brian Hertzberg interviewed some experts on the subject.
A lot of students can have trouble organizing their thoughts onto paper, especially for the purpose of studying. Even though some may not consider note-taking a crucial part of their education, making an effort to better this habit can prove very beneficial.
I've noticed that when I organize my notes, it's really cool when I can look back at certain topics that I know are going to be on the test. So I can easily study those specific things and make sure that I know them for sure. And if I wouldn't, I would have to look through my millions of notes. So it's much easier to do that. And
the way that I have my notes, they're all color-coded so I can find what I needed to do, and they're all outlined. It's just the way my brain works, and it's easier for me to find all of my notes.
It's definitely been something I have to practice on, because I remember when I was small, I would just write everything everywhere, but a teacher taught me Cornell notes, which I've tried to integrate into my notes, because I write certain topics, and then I can bullet certain things, so that's helped me a lot.
I color code everything, and then I go by dates, and I also go by classes. And I also make sure there's inspiration quotes to make me keep going in class, make sure I don't fall asleep.
Hopefully this helps some of you make a positive change through the rest of the new semester. For El Camino Reality, this is Angel Rouse.
And now let's toss it over to Josh Schaefer for this week's sports wrap-up.
Thanks, Emily. Last Wednesday, the boys and girls ECR varsity sports teams all defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers. On Friday, they all faced off with the Birmingham Patriots, the boys' teams at Birmingham Community Charter High School, and the girls' teams here at ECR. The girls' varsity soccer team defeated the Birmingham Patriots by a final score of 4-1. Audrey Cabrera, Sierra Withers, Shelby Vasich, and Serena Fahey scored the goals for ECR. In a rematch of last year's 2015 City Championship game, the boys' varsity team traveled to Birmingham High School. Unfortunately, this game ended in a scoreless draw. The girls' varsity basketball team defeated the Birmingham Patriots by an astounding score of 71-18. Aurel Gelbart led ECR for the second consecutive game in points, this time with 16, and Kiana Hamilton Fisher had 14 points for El Camino Real. On this edition of El Camino Reality, we'll be bringing back the Performance of the Week, where we highlight an ECR athlete's performance over the last 7 to 10 days. This week's Performance of the Week goes to soccer player Andy Garcia. He scored in 3 consecutive games for El Camino Real, including this fabulous goal at Cleveland High School last Wednesday. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at ECR_live for news and updates about ECR athletics and where our next live broadcast will take place. For El Camino Reality, I'm Josh Schaefer.
From all of us on the crew of El Camino Reality,
Stay sharp, conquistadors.
don't forget to tell your friends to check us out on YouTube or at ecrjournalism.com.